Today we're talking my top 5 favorite studios and boutique labels of 2023 for physical media. Now, it was tough to make this list. There's a lot of contenders here, but it came down to basically overall value these studios were able to offer, the types of titles they released, how they released them, their overall business plan strategies, and just overall good vibes with them. So your list is going to look way different than mine. That's perfectly okay. Leave yours in the comments below. And of course, go ahead and mega smash that like and subscribe. If you love collecting physical media just like me, you're in the right spot. You want to go ahead and stay informed, jingle that notification bell. That way I can keep you entertained and up to date on all the physical media goodness all year long. But let's get into this list. First up, we're going to have Sony here at number 5. I think Sony did a good job. They didn't really piss anybody off this year, which is why they got on this list rather than, say, a Paramount, because Paramount had decent releases as well, but then they started irritating people with the re-releases with their still books and all that shenanigans. Sony really didn't have any of that. And I think what we got from Sony was pretty good. We got, say, the Matilda Steelbook, which was a really fun, interesting release. I didn't expect that from them, so that was awesome. So Sony does deliver the value. I mean, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Steelbook was really awesome. So they did have some good titles, and they just kind of stayed the course. So yeah, they were definitely solid enough to make a top 5 here. They weren't too shocking and surprising in either an amazing or bad way. So with that consistency, I had to put them on this list. So yeah, overall was decently pleased with Sony that year. All right, next up we got to have Kino Lorber, right? Kino Lorber is a great boutique label. They're very consistent. Consistency is the game with them. They're always releasing titles every week, it seems like, even though there's not many titles coming out from other labels. Kino Lorber is always there throwing their hat into the ring, and they are just pretty much releasing titles all the time. You wonder, how do they get all these licenses? Where do they get the time to do all these transfers? But somehow they manage to do it. And they do great releases as well. They really have a variety of genres they get into. And so they've had some really good releases overall. I mean, they were doing Monster Squad that people really liked. And they just had a whole bunch of fun titles for people to really pick up on. And what I was enjoying the most from Kino Lorber is their sales. They actually have sales that feel like sales. And so I was able to catch up on a lot of their past titles, and their titles are wonderful. Their transfers are always good. Sometimes there's hidden movies in there. The special features are usually on point. I like their clean packaging with how it looks in comparison to all their other movies. So Kino Lorber, I just think does always a really good job. And I think sometimes they're underappreciated. I don't know why, but I think Kino Lorber is going to do great in upcoming years, just as they did here in 2023. Next up, we're going to end the top 3 here. We're going to have Arrow, and Arrow is another really shining boutique label. The name of the game with them is absolute quality with how they do their packaging and artwork, and I just really like what they do with special features as well. And they get some awesome, cool looking titles in there. And come on, that Empire Screams box set they came out with, that was mind blowing. We've probably never seen those movies ever if a boutique label like Arrow didn't really go ahead and release it. So I'm so glad they came up with an awesome box set like that, because there's definitely hidden gems in there. They did movies like Waterworld, which I really enjoyed, and I thought they did a great job on their 4K of that, much better than what their the other previous 4K release was. So I think Arrow just took their time on a lot of their releases. I mean, Mallrats was wonderful, and so Arrow just had them bangers this year. So I had to put them on the list. Once again, the name of the game for them is always quality, not necessarily price point or sales, but they're always on the quality front, which I have to throw them up on the list for that. I mean, that's what collecting is all about, is getting the best quality movies into your collection, really good titles, and Arrow shine through there. All right, getting in the top 2 here, we got to have Criterion. I think Criterion can be underappreciated sometimes as well, but Criterion is always releasing titles, and they release plenty of titles. So even though they do some re-releases, the 4K, they're always releasing new 4Ks, new Blu-rays. They have so many titles in their collection. I mean, they're over 1,000 titles by now. I mean, you can't really collect them all because there's so many, but that's what makes a Criterion hunt so fun. You really get to pick and choose your favorite genres, because they do everything from classic movies to really modern movies. And that's why I really fell in love with this boutique label in the beginning. They really dived me into boutique labels with just picking up Fast Times at Ridgemont High and then just really getting into all these sales because their sales are quite good as well. Not as good as Kino Lorber, but still pretty good for what you're getting. And they did awesome this year with definitely some new releases like Thelma and Louise was great. After Hours, fantastic. Pinocchio, I want to pick up in the next sale. So they had some really good banger titles. I mean, even their Blu-rays, La Bamba was an awesome release. They're always packing in tons of special features in there and just the funness to their packaging too. You don't know if it's going to be kind of standard Criterion, if they're going to do a digipack, if they're going to do a pop-up book. I mean, it's always kind of wild with what they do with Criterion, but once again, really good quality, really good consistency, just really has everything, variety of titles as mentioned, which puts them so high up on this list. I just think they did the best for a boutique label this year, at least in my opinion. I mean, never have really any issues with Criterion, and they're still available in store at Barnes and Noble. I love the relationship they have with them, so we get those physical media hunting experiences. And whenever there is a sale month, there's always fun content for people going into the Barnes and Noble stores, doing these Criterion pickups. I mean, I even do a Criterion pregame and postgame sale show always their sale months because they're just such a fun label to pick up on, and they're really the only label I do it consistently with. So yeah, there's a reason for that. Criterion's absolutely amazing. But let's get into number one, first place here, and this is actually going to go to a studio, not a boutique label, surprisingly, but I'm going to have to give my hats off to Lionsgate here. I mean, Lionsgate is just the best value. It's no doubt in my mind. I don't know how anybody could argue the value they do. Not only do they have a variety of titles and really work with what they have the licenses to, but they do such good treatments of their 4Ks. The packaging is always fantastic. I mean, you look at just I had to make a whole like 10 top 10 steelbook list with just Lionsgate titles with what they were doing. I mean, come on. You had Crank in there. You had such amazingness with the John Wick stuff. You had Sisu, right? I mean, all these great titles, Cloverfield. They just did such a wonderful job this year. It was amazing. It was amazing the titles they were able to come up with. I still want to even pick up more I missed out on, like Young Guns, I heard was wonderful. But once again, the best value, their price points, right? Always under like $24 for most of their titles, and they're really cool looking steelbooks. I think they're better art designs than most of the other studios and boutique labels out there, and they're cheaper. How do they do better at a cheaper price point? I don't know their business strategy. It's amazing though, and that's why I love picking up a Lionsgate title. I never feel bad on a Lionsgate title either because it is such a good value. Even if it's a blind buy, maybe I don't absolutely love the movie, I don't feel like they robbed me because the price was so cheap. I was happy with a blind buy. So Lionsgate, just with the banger titles, the quality, the consistency too. We always get great Lionsgate releases. They do great with the 4Ks, but not only that, not just their steelbooks. I know I'm really singing the song on them, but let's look at their Blu-rays, right? They have a Vestron video line, which is fantastic. They're always at a cheap price point too, like under $13, under $16. Good slip covers, nice artwork. They even put special features on those. And now they even have this steelbook line, right? They did Maximum Overdrive. We already got announcements into the new year of different steelbooks they're doing with Little Monsters and Shivers and Kickboxer. I mean, I really want to dive into some of those. So, I mean, you look at everything. You look at their steelbooks, their 4K releases, their Blu-rays, their Vestron video line, their Vestron steelbook line. They really are firing on all cylinders for a physical media company. They see the value in physical media. They care about collectors. They take care of them, and they're so affordable. The masses of collectors get on them just because they are at the absolute best value price point. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Lionsgate. I expect nothing from greatness from them in the future, and they did an absolute banger job in 2023. Number one, first place without a doubt. But now you guys are going to have to let me know. I shared my list. Your list is going to look different. Once again, if you haven't, leave your choices down below. What studios or boutiques were you impressed by overall in 2023? And then, of course, once again, if you made it to the end of this video, go ahead and mega smash that like and subscribe if you have not yet done so, because, of course, you're going to be informed and entertained all year long along into 2024, get you all this physical media goodness. Make sure you jingle that notification bell so you know when a video pops up, and that way we can have a great time in this community, just talking, sharing movies, and have a great year. And if you enjoy this physical media topic, mega click the next video right now. And thank you so much, my mega membership supporters.